Welcome back to the Gen Z Speaks podcast. With me today, my usual sort of amazing co-hosts. First, we got Matt Gutierrez. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Just trying to take life easier these days. You?
No, I don't know. It's hard to do that at times, but yeah. Last but not least, we've got Jenish Thanki. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Just trying to live my best life, man.
Define that. What is living your best life?
I don't know, man. Just trying not to stress a lot. Just making money. Hanging out with friends, family, just all that stuff, the good old stuff.
What are you doing not to stress? Like, how do you not stress?
That's a good question. I guess going to the gym, eating good food, and hanging with friends. It's like the basic stuff.
What do you do though when you are stressed? Like, how do you cope with it?
I don't really know. I guess I just breathe. I do like breathe. If I'm like stressed in the moment, then I'm just like breathing, like do some, like that. I don't really do meditation. I can't sit down still and like do meditation for X amount of time. So I just kind of keep going, I guess.
Interesting.
How do you handle stress?
I can't. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I can't handle it. No,
we can all handle stress to a certain extent.
I've been doing a lot of different things actually to manage my stress and anxiety at times, which I think everyone almost has. I think going to the gym helps, but you have to know what you're doing at the gym, because sometimes you do the same routine at the gym and it just gets boring, to be honest with you. And like, you have to I guess try different things at the gym. So definitely that's something I've kind of been doing. So I've told you guys this, but for the audience's sake, I've been going to the sauna and just kind of challenging myself mentally to be in there for like 25 minutes. I think that just challenging yourself early in the morning physically, I think gets you in a better mental state. You'll still be stressed, but I think you're able to manage things better. And then I hop in the pool, then I go in the jacuzzi and then take a shower. And I don't do this every day, but I definitely have been going to the gym almost every day. It does help, man. It does help.
If you listen to the Andrew Huberman podcast, he's a brilliant psychologist or neuroscientist, and he always says the health benefits of sauna and how it can improve mood and stress and anxiety. So there's definitely science behind that, I think.
The sauna is a war, man. Like every single day,
how long do you stay,
bro?
What's up?
How long do you stay in?
25 minutes. It's not that long, but again, like this is I started to do this about 2 weeks ago and I've never been in a sauna before. So it's like, it's still new to me, but I'm getting kind of used to it. So now it's like, okay, can we push it to 30 minutes?
It doesn't relax you when you're in there?
I think it does. I think it does. It does relax me. I wouldn't say I'm always stressed, not stressed. Like I'm stressed, like physically I'm stressed, but mentally, I think it's just, my body has started to embrace that challenge, if that makes sense.
What do you guys think about talking with people, like to deal with stress? Because I think usually I try to keep it to myself and I don't want to talk with anyone. But what I realized is when you start talking with people, you realize that you're not so isolated in your problems, that everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people are dealing with the same issues or anxieties or stress or problems that you might be dealing with. And I think talking can help to a certain extent.
Yeah, I agree. I like kind of how we were in and out the other day, right? And kind of like shoot the shit right there. But I don't know. I think distinctly, like with talking to people. So I'm working on a project right now. I'm talking about like this talking point specifically. And I think it's interesting. Like, so there's a quote Jordan Peterson said, and he said that humans, we need to talk. Like we're literally hoarders. Like our brains are organized as hoarders. And the way we organize ourselves and like our stress is through conversation. And he says that if we don't conversate, then we go ballistic, right? Because it just builds up. And I thought that was interesting because I think I've been under the impression recently, at least, that it's good to talk, but I think you have to choose like your vessel to like share your baggage with, right? Because if you're talking to people that that may not necessarily have your best interests in their heart, then it's not that good, because they can go ahead and use information against you, and that's not cool either, right? Because you're sharing some deep stuff, and they're going ahead and like have an external motive, or ulterior motive. And I think it's just important to know what you're sharing and how you're sharing that information. Yeah, that's what I believe.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah.
I think talking to people helps, but to a certain degree. You have to be talking to the right people about the right situation or conflict that you're in. If you're talking to someone who has no clue about what you're talking about, I think it might just make it worse. So you have to, dude, honestly,
have you guys ever been to therapy?
Or about
like
what?
Counseling or therapy? Have you guys ever been?
I've gone to one session last year.
How was that? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never been, so I just want to know. And I was thinking about, I wanted to try it once.
Makes you feel, I don't know, bro. I didn't care for, that's why I didn't go back, right? I went one session, made me feel uncomfortable. Maybe it was a good thing that I felt uncomfortable because I was getting out of like my box or whatever. But I don't like sharing things with people, especially that I'm not comfortable with. Like I'd prefer to be comfortable with them, and like I can open up in like a safe space, I guess. It sounds
You have that
cliche,
patient
but
client disclosure, right? Where they can't.
you do, but it's not personal, bro. Like it's your first conversation with them and they're already asking and prying away, right? Like to me, that's tough, bro, to give out information that's like important to you, that makes like what makes Matt, right? What makes me is my experiences and like core like memories that I have. And core memories oftentimes aren't the best memories. They're probably experiences that affected me pretty tough. And to pry that out, like to get some of my core memories out and to try to pry some information out off the bat, that made me feel uncomfortable.
No, I agree with you, but I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what the point is of therapy, where you have
Probably.
this person where, you have all these issues that you can't really, you're like you said, you can't really talk to anybody about these issues because they're such a deep part of who you are, and you don't want to just give up this information to anyone. But therapy allows you to do that, where this person is kind of like there just to listen to you. But I mean, I know what you mean though. It does,
Yeah.
Giving out all that information is still pretty uncomfortable.
Especially for like the first session,
Yeah.
I think you have to find the right therapist. I think and you only went to one session with one therapist, right? You have to like at least, I think,
first it's tough, bro.
It's tough to find a good one. Absolutely.
Like not even that, man. Like to even find a therapist in the first place during the pandemic. So I have Kaiser, and like arguably one of the better insurances, right? Kaiser. You would think that the third parties or like the internal therapists that are on Kaiser's payroll, like there would be like you would be able to choose, or you would try a couple out and see what works or whatever. Dude, I had to wait 6 weeks in order to get that one session. And from there, it wasn't even a weekly thing. She said I would have to wait another 5 weeks to get our second session in. And she was the only one available. Like that's how booked they are.
Wow.
Yeah. Unless you go completely externally and you pay out of your pocket, right? But I pay him for insurance. So it's like, I'm not going to, go double dip there. So it's really interesting, man. Like how many people, bro, during COVID, they wanted therapy? Like that was crazy, man.
I mean, the whole point of therapy is to confide in someone, and someone who can objectively tell you, what you're feeling or why you're feeling, and somebody who's medically qualified, right? I mean, that's the whole premise of therapy.
Yeah.
So I think if a lot of us have like people, I mean, they're not medically qualified, right? They can't tell you what's wrong with you on a chemical level, or like, neurons or something, and mentally that's affecting your thinking. But maybe if you have someone that you can confide in and someone that understands you, I think that can also serve as a form of therapy. But I'm not taking away from therapy. Like I think therapy is important because it gives you an objective view, because sometimes so many of us all the time think we're right and like somebody else is screwing us over. And because we're so biased, we're not looking internally. I think therapy allows us to look internally because it's someone who doesn't know us as well, and they're just telling you how things really are. But then again, because they don't know you and you choose to tell them what you want to, can they
Right.
really give you the whole truth? That's something I'm like, I don't know, because they don't see you interacting with people and they conclude things based on what you told them. So if you had a fight with someone, they're listening to it from your perspective, but I'm sure they get trained on how to deal with that as well.
The way I always thought about it is that, you can take a therapist's advice and what they're saying, and how they might perceive your childhood or your trauma experiences. That's how they view it. But I think one of the main benefits of therapy, just in general, is the fact that you can speak out your thoughts. Because just speaking out your thoughts to anyone, it helps you kind of internalize them and solve them yourself. So even if the therapist doesn't come up with a solution, just because you're getting them out there and you can kind of start thinking about them more, you yourself can find that solution. And I mean, I kind of, I've never been to therapy, so I can't really say, but something I do, sometimes I write down stuff, right? Or if whatever I'm thinking, I'm putting my ideas out there, and then I'm internalizing them because I'm writing, by the way of writing, right? So I think it's a similar process.
Yeah, dude. Another thing about it is, for sure, bro. Like, I think you hit it on the dot, man. Like, I think the reason it's important is because you're able to go voice like your thoughts in a place where, I mean, there's not going to be any repercussions, really, right? Um, my another issue like I had with it is like I already I'm overly psychoanalytical. And like that's what fucks me up, honestly. Like when I go and I like psychoanalyze myself too much, and then I went into the session, and I told her right away, I was like, I'm already very like psychoanalytical, and like I tell her like my thought process, and she told me, she was like, yeah, just keep doing that, instead of like maybe understanding like maybe that's kind of what's messing me up in a different way as well.
Yeah, but she's not gonna know that's a problem first session in. Like, she's
Yeah, but bro, she was asking some deep stuff, dude, off the
they
bat.
have to. Otherwise, like, how are they gonna get to know you?
I
They
don't
have
know.
to. The whole point of therapy is opening yourself up
I
to.
didn't want her to know me.
Well, that's
I
fine.
am
But that's
Matt
also the
Damon.
therapist has to make you feel comfortable. You just didn't feel comfortable around her, so it's all
Maybe.
good. But I think going back to your point, there's so many different types of therapy too, like like what?
I am Good Will Hunting.
No, that's a great movie. I mean, yeah, that is therapy, isn't it? I mean, Robin Williams was his therapist basically.
Yeah, but do you remember the lead up to getting to Robin Williams where he like refused to let any therapist in? Like that was.
But Robin saw him. He understood him. He's the only guy that was like, okay, if you don't want to, don't get it. You know what I mean? Like he was upfront with him. Man, it'd be awesome to find a therapist like that, like Robin Williams.
Insane.
Yeah. But again, like, yeah, that'd be cool. Have you guys seen The movie The Master?
Yes.
Oh my God. Talk about therapy. That is some crazy next level stuff.
Dude,
I mean,
bro, is that really therapy though?
That's not therapy. That's a cult, right?
Cult,
that just exposed. Yeah. But I guess elements of it. Like there's one scene in The Master. By the way, The Master is a movie, I believe, by Paul Thomas Anderson. Tell me if I'm wrong. Can someone? By the way, it stars Joaquin Phoenix, and another actor who's passed away. But there's just one scene in the movie, man, and he asks Joaquin Phoenix like these deep questions, what gives you the most amount of fear? Have you ever killed a person, or like have you ever thought about killing a person, or like okay, those are like really crazy questions, but it's like it goes deep into someone's soul, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like I think.
Yeah, but they also were pounding Joaquin Phoenix, right? When they're asking these questions, it was like off, like one after the other after the other,
No,
and it's like
cultish. That's
overwhelming.
Thing.
Yeah.
My point was, it's just I think
it was to break him down.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think a good therapy session is where you truly feel vulnerable and you feel comfortable at the same time. It's a really hard balance to find. Yeah. I've been to so when my when my mom and my siblings came here back in like 2014, we went to, because it was like a lot of stuff moving into a different country, different culture, different problems. We actually went to therapy, and the problem wasn't therapy though. Like you're so prone to like just making stuff up. Cause when, the therapist used to ask me some questions, I would just like mess around and like, in my mind, just like tell her things that were just wrong. Like they're not accurate. I basically lied to her sometimes. Yeah. I was like 14 years old. I'm straight up. She was like, and we did like group sessions and solo sessions. So I think we did that about for like 4 or 5 months. So I had visited her at least 3 to 4 times, but I don't know. I found myself kind of
Yeah,
just
no,
making stuff up to
I
her.
think
I don't know.
it
It
was
was weird.
funny or
I
why?
think in
It wasn't. I don't think it was funny. It was maybe from a place where I didn't want to share things, so I would just instead make up stuff just so the session would just finish or something. But I liked her. Like it wasn't about her. I think it was just a personal thing. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like I don't know. Sometimes we lie just to make ourselves feel better about some things.
I think I definitely would not be up for group sessions. I don't know how that would work. But I
Well,
don't know.
there's like couple
Lying.
therapy sessions. There's family therapy sessions. What I did was family therapy. I think.
Oh no.
It wasn't like alone. Yeah, that would
Oh,
imagine
no.
doing that, dude.
No.
Oh no, not the oh no.
No man.
Oh man, I want to see that though. I want to see that. I want to see. You guys imagine that, bro? Like live therapy sessions. That's entertaining. I mean, that's messed up.
Messed
but
up, but yeah.
That's very messed up. I mean, no
That's
one wants
interesting, dude.
That
That.
is
But
content.
whoa, it's like a
That is
movie.
Yeah.
That is content. Oh man, we're becoming into these content.
Dude,
LA
that's human
leeches.
nature, bro. That's human
That's
nature.
human
Everybody likes
nature.
drama. They like chisme. They like other people's issues.
I don't know, man.
That's
It's
right. Real Housewives is so popular, right? And
you
Kim
wouldn't want
Kardashians.
your own family to be shown on TV or like in a
Absolutely
like a
not.
live thing,
Absolutely
but you would
not.
love
But you
to
want
see
other
someone
people.
else's family with
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what reality TV basically is, isn't it? Reality TV, it's kind of like seeing how families interact with each other. It's not
Yeah, but-
therapy, but it's like
Yeah, it's not real though, right? Either.
that's true.
There's a lot of BS involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah, dude. I think like just going back to like The Master, like that was totally. I mean, we can talk about this if you'd like, but if not, whatever. I just thought the movie. Honestly, I didn't really care for the movie. I just thought it was super
Really?
interesting how they just tried to break the guy down into it. But that got him into like it got into like a malleable place too, though, right? Where they were kind of messing with him, and that's kind of similar to therapy, right? They kind of like make you malleable and vulnerable in order to
They don't
you
mess
know.
with you. They're trying to help you.
But it is though a little bit. It's
No,
it's
No, they're
no.
not.
it
I
is
don't think-
messing with you.
I
No, the
don't think
therapist is
that-
trying to help you, man. It's
Yeah, I
they're
think
really
therapists,
just there
their
to
end
help
goal
you.
is to solve whatever
Their end-
problems you have.
Their end goal is to
Right,
help
but they're
you help
making you
yourself.
malleable is my point. I'm not saying they're a cult. I'm not saying they're like
No. Their goal is to help you help yourself. That's what their main.
By the way, I've
intention
never
is.
watched The Master, so I don't know what you guys are talking
Yeah.
about. But I'm
It's
just kind of
basically
context
about this
clueless.
cult, and this guy who's a leader of the cult is kind of like a psychologist slash doctor slash I don't know. All he does is kind of like he's a cult leader, so he had he's got a following of people, and the way I guess he gets them into the cult is by like really breaking them down mentally and asking them these questions and like understanding their reactions and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very weird, the movie, but it's based loosely on Scientology. I think elements of it.
yes,
Elements of
I
it.
read that, dude. That it's
Elements of
actually
it.
yeah, which is
Mhm.
crazy, right?
Mhm.
Scientology it's a trip, man. How they like
Dude, I don't want to even go into it, man. It's
Yeah,
such a
man.
deep hole. I don't, dude. It's so
it's sad, bro.
What's sad about it?
because
Bro, the way these guys react, like
It's a
they're
religion.
in it, man. Like it's their life.
Yeah, so it's like Christianity to someone.
Well,
right?
yeah, well, okay, similar concept, except
Scientology is
Scientology
completely
like,
different. It's
How is it different?
nothing.
How?
It's not Christianity, Scientology.
Yeah,
It's
but
completely
how is
different.
it different?
It's different because it's not. Well, first of all,
You're gonna say Christianity's real, and then
no, I never.
Scientology's not?
Don't wait. Whoa.
No,
Don't
I
do
want to
that.
know. I
never
want to know
said
how is it
that.
different. How is it different?
I'm telling you, like looking into Scientology, it first of all, it started off. It wasn't. It's not. I wouldn't say they call themselves a religion, right? Scientology, but
Yeah,
I
some
don't.
guy came and said he was a prophet or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like in terms of every single thing like associated with it, the fact that there's like a guy security guard wearing carrying an AR like assault weapon outside the door every single day guarding the property, and how they're very private about that stuff. The only way to actually know what happens in Scientology is first of all by joining it, right? And like actually being part of it, as opposed to like it's not it seems just, and all the like horror stories of people leaving Scientology and kind of exposing what goes and outside.
I think what Jenish's point is, like, in a way, the people that are really into religion, they react the same way as people like in the following of Scientology.
How
Maybe the
so?
concepts are different, right? The concept of like God and Christianity, or like, you know, whatever, and then Scientology. And I'm not too versed in it, so whatever they believe in, because they're very like very in it, right? They believe it's true to them. They're like, it's the truth, and they're extremely defensive when it comes to it. Just like a lot of people in Christianity and like Jehovah's Witnesses, they're very defensive when it comes to, you know, what they believe in.
Well, any person of faith is, I wouldn't say defensive. They're passionate about what they believe in. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
defensive.
Well, okay, fair, passionate,
Yeah,
fine.
that's. I
It
just
comes
think
off
it's
as
like any other
defensive.
religion. Like every religion is pretty much a framework that people abide by or have, and then have faith in, and wholeheartedly believe without any like, I guess, questions. You know, like we just
No.
take it for the value it is, right? Like that's
No,
all.
I disagree about the questions part. They,
Well,
of course,
yeah, no,
they
okay,
ask
actually, sorry,
questions.
I phrased
People
that.
ask questions.
I
That's the
phrased
whole
that
point.
wrong. I phrased that wrong. But you know, you have some sort of faith. That's what.
Faith in a higher being, and you have practices, rules, and regulations.
No,
What
no,
you
no,
can
no,
and
no, no.
can't
Not
do.
faith in a higher being always, because Buddhism is a religion, and you don't have a faith in a higher being. You have.
Not really religion though.
It is a religion. Buddhism.
It's
Buddhism
not
is a
really.
religion.
It's a way of life.
Yeah, you could say that, but it's a
A
religion.
religion is a way of life.
Buddhism never claimed as a religion. They never claimed themselves as a religion. They've only claimed themselves as a way of life and a way of to have a mindset.
Interesting.
People claim it as a religion because technically, like you're saying, technically being like religion is a way of life. But Buddhism has never said like we're religion and this is why you should follow us. It's just these are our set principles and this is like our belief system. And you join if you please, you don't please, then don't join. Rather than like Christianity, for example, I mean, you have to believe in God, right? Buddhism's never said that, which I actually value. I think that's really good.
So a set of principles which you live by, is that a religion in your definition or no?
No.
Okay.
Because I think in my definition, like when or at least me, right? When I think of religion, I think of like Catholicism, or I think of like there's set principles and there's somebody that set these set principles. Like Buddha never went ahead and said, like live by my way of life. He just lived by a way of life and shared like how he lives, right? And then people thought of it as like an attractive mindset. And then they adopted
I agree
it.
with you. I agree with you. If we define religion in a certain way, yeah, I agree with you that Buddhism is not really a religion, because a religion kind of so how I'm kind of thinking about it right now is that religion expects you to believe in something no matter what. So if you're Islam, Muslim, you have to believe in it. There's a God. And
right.
You can question it, yeah, but there is a God, right? That's like the basic principle. Whereas in Buddhism, they say there's an enlightenment that you can reach, but they don't say that you have to believe in it. They say you meditate, do it, and you find it yourself. That's kind of how Buddhism approaches it. That's the way I view it. So yeah, I guess in a way, Buddhism is not a religion. It's more of a set of principles, even though we do classify it as a
religion. Yeah. That's interesting. But that's a very Western way.
So what was the original question regarding Scientology? So what was like the topic?
You were asking me what I think we disagreed on classifying it as a religion. I don't know if I mean they claim themselves.
Yeah, it's a religion. They have a faith in something, right? That's the same thing.
And there's an enforcement. They enforce a certain.
Enforce like Christianity, Islam, anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if they call themselves religion, we have to respect that. You know, freedom of religion. But what were we talking about? We're talking about therapy, and we ended up talking about Scientology. Yeah, I mean, look. No, before that, we were talking about how we cope with stress. This whole big loophole of ideas stemmed from how do you cope with stress. I just wanted to say, like, there's different types of, like, you can kind of do things. Like Jenish mentioned writing. I've been kind of writing, journaling, and that definitely helps a lot, just to write out things, because you think so many different things. But once you write it down or have it on a Google document, just things or ideas that you're experiencing and feeling, you're more clear about things. And you feel a sense of relief, at least for me, that's what I feel. And I think a lot of people sometimes are hesitant to write about what they're actually feeling, because sometimes they haven't truly wrestled with those emotions, you know? And I think that prevents them from truly getting to the bottom of what it is that scares them or excites them, or, you know, maybe gives them sadness or happiness. I don't know.
I definitely agree. No. And you know what makes writing hard, or just sitting by yourself and thinking about these things, is the fact that we have a million different distractions. You know, it's just hard nowadays, where back in the
Darn
day,
right.
maybe, you know, you don't have those distractions. You can actually try to internalize your thoughts and what's going on in your head. But now it's just we have limitless amounts of distractions, and even just sitting by yourself and writing some stuff down, which is your thoughts, and that's very insightful, but that's boring now. Like, why would you do that when you can just be watching a movie, a TV show, on social media?
Yeah. So I used to journal like really often in 2020 and then half of like 2021. Every night I would journal. And like what I realized is it's um when I journal, it's to see like what's going on that day, just to kind of document it, right? But it's also to have, because I mean, I have thoughts every day, right? Of whether it's a past experience or something debilitating that's come up. And it's a way to just jot it down. But when I do journal, I notice that my thoughts are very jumbled up, because it's only going to be me reading it, right? I don't want anybody else to see what I'm writing. And so I just go ahead and I throw a bunch of information down. It's not really cohesive. And I don't know if that really helps, because I tried to be like structured with it, but it's difficult to be structured, man. When ideas just jump, it's really difficult.
So when I write, I'm not structured at all, just to be honest. I just write whatever's in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my way of kind of just putting the ideas out. I don't, so maybe like I might try it where I have to be structured and lay out my thoughts. Maybe that'll help me organize them better in a way. But when I write, I just write random stuff that's in my head, so I could just write it down, and then I write everything down and think about it. That's how I approach it, kind of.
For me, it's the way I go about it. So I've been journaling now for about 16 days. The way I journal is I write a list of things that I did throughout the day, what I ate, what I worked out, and like interesting conversations, an interesting quote that happens. And it takes me like 40 minutes to write it, by the way. So it does take me a long time. And then I do a self-reflection in the end of kind of like you said, kind of just random thoughts that come to my mind and like my analyzation of the day. But one thing though that I've been doing, man, and it does help, and I never did this before, is like giving yourself affirmations. Like I do, this is very silly. This is gonna sound really silly, but when I'm driving in the car, like I just put all the windows down and I start like just giving myself affirmations, like, yeah, you know, I got this, I can do this, you know, proud of myself for doing this, or like, you know, I can do that. And like I even do that in the sauna sometimes, you know, like the old Matthew McConaughey trick from the Wolf of Wall Street thing. I think it really helps you, man, because sometimes, you know, people can give you all the compliments and words of encouragement in the world, but if you yourself are not giving yourself credit, nothing truly will ever compare to that. Because at least for me, you know, it's like I feel like once I truly give myself credit and I'm satisfied with it and happy with it, is my way of like truly embracing that. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. I feel more
No,
comfortable if
100%.
I'm
Yeah, it makes
satisfied with
sense.
myself.
No,
Makes
100%.
sense.
And I think the idea of like self affirmations and you know, giving yourself room to breathe, I guess, is that we all have an internal self talk. I think, right? Everybody, when you're alone, when no one is around and you're alone, you're talking to yourself in your head. It might be subconscious, but you're talking to your head, talking to yourself in some way, right? And that self-talk can become negative. It can become, you know, you're just like self-hate, kind of, you know, self-doubt. You know, you can't do this, you can't do this. So I think it's really important that, well, like Ibrahim said, that we kind of give ourselves positive self-talk. And there's a lot of books that have been written on self-talk, but you know, the idea is that you give yourself positive affirmations, and that kind of changes your the self-talk, internal self-talk you have.
Everybody has like their own way of like coping with shit, right? And you know, whether it's journaling or, you know what I've tried, actually, I told you guys this, I tried video journaling, and that's helped me more, I feel, than actual writing journaling. I have more satisfaction in writing journaling, but I think what's helped me more is the videos. But that's not very consistent. What's more consistent, like when I'm going through shit in my head, I have to stay busy. Like if my brain's not busy, I'm going berserk. Like I'm one of those people, I cannot stay home for the whole, like I have to go do something. It has to be outside of the house for one day, or else like I'm like getting bad with myself. I don't know why, but that's what it, but yeah, I mean, kind of like you guys, like I work out like often. And it's not really the working out that, helps my mental. It's like, sorry, yeah, it's not the physical working out that helps my mental. It's like the thought process behind it, that I'm actually doing it every day, that there's not many people out there working out every single day, but I am. Like Matt Gutierrez is doing that. And that's what helps me kind of like, no, it's not, I'm not telling myself self-affirmations, right? But it's just like the byproduct of that. Like I'm able to feel better about myself because of that. That's what really helps my mental. Another thing, a little more, I mean, not everybody's into it, but I have a motorcycle, and like that really helps me. Like I just go and I listen to, sometimes it depends where I'm going, but if I'm just trying to get shit off my mental, I'll listen to like this one country artist, drive around on the freeway, and that like really helps me kind of delve into that feeling of, I'm not getting into it, but whatever it is at the time. And that really assists as well. But other than that, man, like I don't like to dwell on shit, right? Like that, I think that's the biggest problem, when you dwell on things. And it's good to internalize, but it's also good to just forget for a second. It's good to like go hang out with friends and not remember like something that's going on like in your life. Like it's a good feeling. You want happy moments in your life as well, not just you internalizing, and then it turns into something nihilistic, or a lot of people, some people get nihilistic with things, but
I think there's a thin line though. There's a thin line with internalizing the thoughts and then going out friends and feeling good, but or just escaping from them. So I think you can't escape from those thoughts and then go out with your friends and have a good time. I think you need to first at least kind of understand what you're feeling, come to terms with it, then you can move on. It's not about escaping, it's more about coming to terms and then moving on. That's how I feel.
100%. Yeah, you have to confront.
Hardest part.
Yeah,
it's the hardest part, to come to terms with something, because like you said, going back in this current day and age, there's always been distractions throughout time, but now I feel like distractions have become escapes, where
I feel like it's always been a thing though.
It's always been a thing, but I think distractions have like actually become, we have more opportunities to make them escapes, like going on your phone for like 4 or 5 hours, or like,
100%.
Something
Absolutely.
else where it just takes your mind away, and you want to look at other people's lives as opposed to yourself, and kind of like seek comfort that way. It's really toxic,
dude.
but.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen like my Instagram reels, but I'm kind of doing this thing on Instagram where it's regardless, right? There's a couple of videos I make, and there's a couple of videos I'm going to post soon, and it's really about that. Like it's literally the easiest time to be lazy in history. There's never been a time where you can be more lazy, and it's been so easy, where it's just at your disposal, just because we have so many resources out there, right? Like the internet has just brought us to a point in life where you can either become successful and use it, or you can become more lazy and not use it, right? Or sorry, utilize it in that way. And like, I think honestly, like we're talking about it a little bit, but making these videos, the original goal was, I'm still trying to get at it, right? So there's this brand called Mentality, for the viewers that don't know. They're an Instagram brand, and basically they're about being hard and staying strong and having a strong mental fortitude, basically. And ever since I downloaded Instagram, like 2015, 2016, they were very small at the time, but I saw their account and I wanted that, because I've always been into quotes. I've always been a quote guy. And that they did it. And I was like, wow, like that's awesome. And so I followed them, whatever. And recently they've been getting more into like athletics, and like, I'm in pretty good shape. And so I wanted to be part of their team. And so they have this program going out right now where you can become a Mentality athlete, and you don't necessarily need a following, which to me is amazing, right? And so what I've been doing to get their attention, out of like 60,000 people in the pool of applicants, I've been posting a reel every single day of, me doing a workout and a thought that's in my head. Like a lot of people in life, they complain about shit all the time. Everybody complains, especially in like first world countries, but they fail to realize like there's so much worse stuff going on in this world, right? And that's been like a big portion of it as well. It's just trying to understand, like, you have to have a strong mentality. Like, everyone goes through stuff in life, but that's not an excuse to complain. It's an excuse. It's a reason to be better, to be stronger, to, you know, have more drive. It's not motivation, it's drive to, you know, make yourself proud and your parents proud.
I actually have a quote. Speaking of quotes, it's
Speak it.
okay. So I actually have this doc where I keep some quotes. I just have it like a folder. If I find like
Same,
a quote
dude.
I really
I have a
like.
doc. Yeah.
Yeah, you do, right? So this is a quote about writing. Hold up. It's by some artist. I don't know. I don't know where I found this quote, but the guy's name is George Bueller, I think. It says, quote, "The process of writing can be a powerful tool for self-discovery. Writing demands self-knowledge. It forces the writer to become a student of human nature, to pay attention to his experiences, to understand the nature of experiences itself. By delving into raw experiences and distilling it into a work of art, the writer is engaging in the heart and soul of philosophy, making sense out of life." And I thought that was a beautiful quote about writing and kind of like the topics we're talking about right now.
Want to know another interesting quote? So I've been reading this really great memoir by Viola Davis. For those of you who don't know, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows who Viola Davis is, but one of the best actresses in the world. Guys, her story is beyond. I have never seen a more tougher story about a person, but nonetheless, in each chapter of the book, like many books, there's this quote in it, and this quote is by Friedrich Nietzsche, and the quote goes, "He who has a why to live for can bear with almost any how." He who has a why to live for can bear with almost any how. And I honestly think this is one of the most genuine and hard to wrestle your mind around quotes, because it's true. And this is, I feel like it just summarizes so many people's lives, that if somebody really has a why to live for, we just have to cope with the hows and our, you know, journeys in terms of battling with those hows. That's all life really is, right? I mean,
Dude, Nietzsche is he's my favorite philosopher. Jenish introduced me to him in like 2019, and I've read his books, and like I listened to a lot of podcasts about him and just a lot of things that he believed. And there's nothing more true than what you just said, man. Like, you have to battle your internal battles. Like, that's the only way.
I didn't say Nietzsche
to have
did.
a why. You said Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't say Nietzsche said it. Nietzsche said it.
You did.
I think it's Nietzsche, but I might be wrong.
All right, man. Whatever.
So I was saying the quote. It's not me. It's Nietzsche who said the quote. That's what I was just clarifying.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, right? Like, his whole like philosophy is you need to be like mentally strong as well, and like to have that why and to have that reason to live. Because look, I think we're all aware we're just living on a fucking rock in the middle of nothing, right? And like it's not really a point to even be here. But is that satisfying to say, or is it more satisfying to say like I believe in God, right? And like God put me on this earth for a reason. Like I literally battled millions of other sperm to get here, and I was the one. You were the one. Out of every single sperm there, you were the strongest, you were the fastest, you were the most equipped to be on this earth, regardless of the situation you're now in. Like, you were the one. And like, to understand that and to cope with that, it gives you that why, it gives you that reason to find your why. Yeah.
Guys, did you guys see the pictures from the James Webb telescope?
Oh my God.
Dude.
Oh my God. That was
Insane.
amazing.
When I look at that stuff, I mean, how can you not be
It
humbled?
doesn't even look real. It doesn't look real.
It
Well,
has
it's
to be
not
a
saturated,
God,
right?
man.
The colors
There
are
has to be a
saturated.
God. There's
No,
a
it's
God.
accurate. They have a whole process. They describe the whole process of how they get the colors like that.
But the
But
color's
now-
saturated, right?
Huh?
The colors are saturated. It's not like that.
No, it is like that if we were to see it with our human eyes. But we can't
Actually?
see- yes.
Wow.
That's how beautiful the world is, man. Yeah, the universe
I
is.
thought they saturate the colors just so you can see like the depth effect and like the actual.
No. So the colors are based on like they have a multitude of different factors, and I'm not a physicist, I don't know, but there's a whole process describing how they get those colors for that object, and it's like they try to make it as accurate as possible.
That's unreal.
It's real though. It's not unreal.
It feels unreal, man.
It does. We're just one, there has to, I feel like when I just look at those things, I just feel like it's God, like how can there not be a God? Why is everything so precise and so distinct and so pristine, and like everything just makes sense. Like everything serves a purpose on life. Like
But it's not either.
What's up?
I think that's the beauty, that it's not pristine and it's not perfect.
Yeah. But we can chase that perfection. We'll never get to it. As humans, we'll never be perfect. We can always aspire to be perfect. I think that's the hardest part about realizing that, man, you're not going to be able to be really good at things that you really want to, and that's okay as long as you keep chasing them.
You know what you're describing right now?
Who?
Your least favorite philosophy.
Who?
Metaphysics.
Metaphysics? It's fine.
That is.
I just, that one class traumatized me forever. Okay, I think we should end the conversation here because we have to. Yeah. Any last words or thoughts?
I do have. So I have one quote. I thought that was on the note of the universe. It's insane to think that in our brain we have as many neurons as there are stars in our universe. I believe that's the quote. But how beautiful is that, man? Like the amount of neurons in our, or I think it's stars, or maybe a part, something like that, or amount of neurons. So the amount of neurons in our brain, it's the same amount as the amount of neurons in the universe. That's bonkers.
There's 86 billion neurons in the human brain. 86 billion. How many stars are there?
Maybe it's not stars. Maybe it is neurons.
No, but no, I mean, you're comparing neuron, but that's insane. Wow.
It's an insane. Yeah.
It might be galaxies in the universe, but not stars. I think stars.
It's not stars.
It's probably
galaxies.
Yeah, but it's 86 billion. Oh my God.
Regardless, the quote, it doesn't matter.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. We're complicated beings. We're really intricate, and God made us in a way it's a work of art. Our bodies, our brains, how we perform, how we act.
We're perfectly imperfect.
Boom. All right. See you guys next week.